Hello guys, this is Chirodeep once again and you're watching Code Java tutorial. In this tutorial we're gonna learn about how to mix SIB and IIB, and we can have a good look about how they work actually. Now here we're gonna start mixing those SIB and IIB block in our class. Now in this class I have defined one class here and I have defined one static block over here, that is SIB, and this block is called as IIB, as you know, and we are creating one object of the class A, that is AA1 equals to new A, and we are printing one delimiter. Then again we are creating an object. So as you know that for IIB, every time we create an object of that class, IIB will get called and the static block will get called for once only when we will be loading the class into the memory. So if we run this program, you can have this output as SIB is the first, then IIB, then again IIB, as because SIB is loaded into the memory for only one time and IIB get loaded into the memory every time you create the object. Now moving to the next program, in this program you see that I have defined one static integer variable, that is I, and I have defined one constructor over here, and I have incremented the value of I, that is the post increment. Now I am creating object 3 times and the value will be called, the value will be incremented 3 times. As we are calling the default constructor over here, I will be initialized by 0 as it is a static. So every time we call the constructor, it will get incremented by 1. So after calling 3 times, it will print 3. So let's have a look. As you can see, the value is 3 over here. Now moving to the next program, in this program you can see that I have defined one class over here, and this is a simple variable integer I, not a static variable. It's a non-static variable, and I have defined one method over here, that is a print method, and I am printing the value of I from the print method. Now I am creating one object of the class C, and I am creating one object that is C1, and I am calling the print method from the object C1, C1.print, and again I am assigning C1.I equals to 0, sorry 10, and again I am just calling the print method C1.print, and again I am assigning C1.I as 20, and again I am calling the print. So initially the value of I will be 0, and then it will have 10, then after that it will have 20. So if we run this program, we're gonna have the output as 0, 10 and 20. Now moving to the next program, in this program I have created one static integer variable, that is I, and I have created one set method and which is catching one element m, and m will be assigned to the value of I. Now I'm creating one object over here, that is d1 equals to new d, and I'm creating 4 objects, and every time I'm assigning the value d1 dot set equals to 1, and d2 dot set 2, d3 dot set 3, d4 dot set 4. Now here's the main thing: if we assign the value of any static integer, the previous value will be just omitted and it will update the current value. No matter in our program, whatever object you are calling the value, it will not store the previous value, it will update the value. So the last updated value will be t4 dot set will be 4, and it will print 4 only. Now if we if we uncomment the line, you can see that if we uncomment this line and if we again run this program, we will get the value as 3. So the value will be updated for static integer every time you call the object. And moving to the next program, here also I have defined one static integer variable, that is I, and I have defined one constructor over here, E, and it is assigning I as 10, and the IIB block over here, that is assigning I as 10, and one method over here, hello, that is assigning I as 30. Now we are calling first I, system.out.println I. so it will call the default method, but here the default value of I equals to 0, that is the initial value, and again a delimiter. Again we are creating an object, so when we are creating the object, the IIB will execute and it will have the value as I equals to 10. Now if we print the value of I, we will get 10, and again we are calling e1.hello. So e1.hello will have the value I as 30. So after that we will get the value of 30. Again we are creating one object of e2, and it will call the IIB and as well as the value of object. So it will reset the value and print. So let's have a look what is the value actually. Here you can see first initially it is printing the default value 0, then IIB is getting called, and also the default constructor over here 10, so 10 will get printed. Then again if we are calling e1.hello, so e1.hello will set the value as I as 30, so 30 will be printed, and again lastly we are creating another object e2, and it will print the object value as 10. Now moving to the next program. In this program we have created one constructor of the class f, and we are printing a, and we have created one argument constructor over here that is catching an argument, and we are calling this this method. So this method will call the default constructor and it will print a. Again after that it will print a int, and this is the initialization block, that is the instant initialization block. It will print IIB. Now we are creating one object over here, if f1 equals to new f, so IIB will get called and default method will be get called, default constructor. So IIB then a. Again we are creating one IIB, and we are creating one object, and IIB will get called, so the print will be IIB, and then the argument constructor will be called, and this method from the argument constructor this method will be called, and it will print a. After that a int. So if you run the program, it will give you the this kind of output, IIB then a, then again IIB then a int. So this is the flow of your program. It's very easy. And moving to the last program before wrapping up this tutorial, here in the class G I have defined one IIB1, that is topmost. Again after that I have defined one constructor over here, and it's calling the argument constructor from the default constructor, so it will call double D and it will print G double. After that it will print G. Again this is the second instant initialization block, IIB2. So no matter whatever IIB you have defined in your program, every time you create an object of your class, all the IIB from top to bottom will get implemented, as you have seen in my previous tutorial. Now we are creating one object over here, g1 equals new g, so IIB1 and IIB2 will be printed. After that default constructor will be called, and default constructor will call the argument type constructor, and g double then g will be printed. So first print will be IIB1, IIB2, g double and g. After that it will call just default argument constructor over here, and for this IIB1 and IIB2 will be printed, and the default constructor will print g double. So if you run this program, you will get like this, g double and g, then IIB1, IIB2 and g double, and all the IIBs are also printed. So you will give the output as this, IIB1, IIB2, g double, g, then IIB1, IIB2, g double. So this is the mixing of IIB and SIB. We will be using more of this IIB and SIB in our upcoming tutorials, and I hope you are liking my series, and thanks for watching and have a nice day.